Okay, perfect. So tonight we are talking about tapping into your clients' emotions and optimizing your EQ or emotional intelligence. This is our October webinar. Thank you for those of you that attended last week's hot seat coaching / Q&A call with Stephanie Reel from Real Deal Marketing. That was an awesome call. The recording is also in the resource locker. Plenty of tips, tricks, and ideas to get your kind of marketing strategy brains going. So tonight we already talked about what are your wins, and I love hearing these every single week. Be sure to also post these in the group. If you have exciting things that pop up, post in the group as much as you want. You know, hey, I got this testimonial, or hey, I got this press feature, or whatever. I love seeing that type of stuff come across the feed in the group. So starting off with our mindful minute, you guys know that I've been trying to do these on most of our calls. I was chatting with Brittany earlier today about this and how we both love human design. This is human design people would kill me if they saw me calling it a personality tool, but for the purpose of tonight's session, I'm going to call it like a personality test. So if you've ever taken like the Enneagram or DISC or Clifton Strengths, formerly known as Strengths Finders, or MBTI, like the Myers-Briggs type indicator test, things like that. This is kind of another addition to all of those things. Plus, it's more woo-woo astrology related. It depends on your birth chart. So I wanted to bring this up. Has anybody besides Brittany heard about human design? Just raise your hand because I can see you guys all on camera now. Jill, or not Jill, sorry, Jen and Natalie. Okay, awesome. Natalie, can I ask you like how you heard about it, or like how you found out about it, or if it's affected your business at all?
I think somebody was sharing it, like a Facebook type of sponsored ad or something like that, and I clicked on it and thought it was really interesting. I'm a manifesting generator, and it just sounds so technical, but yeah, like it really, really makes sense. But I really love like the Enneagram. I'm a 2. For the test, I'm an ESFJ. So it does play a part in how, you know, I'm always the helper. And it's like, that's always been my thing. And even when I'm talking to clients, I'm like, I just want to help. So it's really funny that I come into the profession that I'm in because I'm helping people. So, I mean, I didn't dive too much into the human design. I mean, I looked it up and found out what I was, but haven't really researched it deeply.
Yeah, it is super interesting how I also see how it ties into my Enneagram. I'm a 1, MBTI, I'm an INTJ, and I'm a manifester just like Brittany is. And I think manifesting generators are, do you know the statistics, Brittany? Like off the top of your head? I know projectors are like super tiny, reflectors are super tiny.
It's something like,
okay, so unfortunately during the live presentation, I got kicked out of Zoom and then came back and the recording had stopped. So I'm filling in the blanks here, but basically we introduced tonight's topic. We chatted about our wins around the room. Then we talked about a brief mindful minute, AKA some personality tools that can help you if you would like to explore them further and grow your business. What is emotional intelligence? So tonight we're talking about EQ. And if you've ever heard of this idea of EQ versus IQ, right? Taking intelligence tests, or IQ being a abbreviation for intelligence, we're going to talk about EQ, so emotional intelligence. And this is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So there's a few different buckets that go into this. We're going to cover them on the next slide. Self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, motivation, and social skills. And really this the purpose of tonight's presentation is to help you understand why having high EQ and healthy EQ can help you be a better organizer, a better business owner, a better client relations person, and really help to build that know, like, trust factor with your organizing clients. So let's break down these different areas of EQ. Self-management. So if you are a self-managed person, you might have great self-control, right? You might not be going to the fridge at 10 p.m. just because you're bored and you feel like a snack when you know you're not hungry. Or you might be sticking to a workout routine, or sticking to a schedule, sticking to reading a chapter in your book every night, or whatever it is, right? Self-management. You control those impulsive feelings and behaviors like, oh, I really don't want to work out, so I'm just not going to go. And I really want to go eat that cheesecake that's in the freezer, and so I'm just going to do it. Those are impulses, right? And so these are things where you're self-managed enough to not act on those impulsive feelings and behaviors. You're able to manage your emotions in healthy ways, take initiative, follow through on commitments, and adapt to changing circumstances with kind of an even-keeled way. You don't tend to like blow up or blow a fuse, if you will, if something happens that's triggering or something that doesn't go your way. Self-awareness. So you recognize your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. You know your strengths and weaknesses, and you have self-confidence enough to communicate the things that you need. So for example, this might come up like in your relationships with your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever, your kids. And when you start to feel something kind of bubbling up and you're like, okay, I'm aware of it, now it goes deeper and you start to think about, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I triggered by XYZ? You know, how did I get here? How do I get out of this, right? Without blowing a fuse, without kind of having a blow up or a negative interaction with whoever you're working with or dealing with. Social awareness, you have empathy, you can understand the emotions, needs, and concerns of other people, pick up on emotional cues, you feel comfortable socially, and recognize the power dynamics in a group or organization. So this is like kind of reading the room, right? We call it reading the room, or knowing your place, or knowing the pecking order, or just simply knowing when to speak, when not to speak, knowing when to shut up, knowing when to say something, knowing who you're with, right? Are they somebody that swears? Maybe you swear if they're swearing. Maybe you don't if, you know, they seem more buttoned up and polished. Maybe they drink their wine a certain way, and so you start to kind of swish it and the pinky up and this and that and hold it, you know, specifically how they're holding it. We're going to get into mirroring here in a minute, but social awareness is key as it pertains to EQ, as is self-awareness and self-management. And then the last thing on here is relationship management. So you know how to develop and maintain good relationships, communicate clearly, inspire and influence others, work well in a team, and manage conflict. This is huge when it comes to running a business, being a business owner, being somebody that's constantly in the field of customer service, right? Client relationship building, getting those good reviews, making sure you get that repeat business. You have to focus on building that know, like, trust factor and really beefing up those relationships. So then we got into some group discussion. We had a few people share around the room as far as some ways that they're already exhibiting healthy EQ behaviors in the work with their clients. And then we talked about some things that we've all had to emotionally overcome in our own journey to entrepreneurship.
To invest in the appropriate amount of organizing supplies, but to my surprise, that was not the case. They were on a very, very tight budget. So knowing the expectations for the generations, knowing the expectations for the personality or the socioeconomic level, but also leaving the space for the individual differences and preferences. That's what I'm finding, because I knew for sure they were going to go all out. But no, they're going to go very, 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 very basic.
Yeah.
But showy probably too. They want it to act, they probably want it to look like you spent thousands and thousands of dollars, but they didn't.
Actually, no.
Oh, really? They didn't want it all pretty, but just like on a budget?
Beautiful. I mean, the home is like at least $4 million.
I know,
No.
and they probably wanted like no product.
No, they don't.
Like, what am I
They're
doing
like,
here?
she said, I just want it functional. That's it. So it's kind of, sometimes it's like leaving the space because you just never know. Sometimes I feel.
So frustrating too.
Yeah, right. Because you want to plan and anticipate that you think you got it, and then you're like, no, not with this one.
And
So,
that's the thing with organizing is it's such an art and it's not a science. I say
No.
this every day. It's not like every client is the same, every home is the same, every space is the same. No, literally every single detail is different. Where they
And-
want you to park, if they want you to text them or call them, if they want the before and after pictures, or if they could care less, if they want you to post on social media, or if they're like, no posting on social media, if they want product, if they don't want product, if they want to use what they already have, if they want to like save everything for that garage sale, right? That they're never going to have. Like every single job is different. And so it really does take high EQ to be able to walk into, you don't know what you're walking into, walk into any situation and just be like, I'm here and I'm magic and I know my worth and I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
So let's go, right? No matter what. That's hard. That's hard. But
Very.
it's what we do. It's what we do every day.
Yeah.
Letty?
Yeah, so I have a client that I've been working with for almost 2 years now, and she's ADHD. And like her house was just like literally covered in paperwork. She's afraid to throw anything away. The daughter-in-law is the one that hired me. We had permission to go into the home and do like a one clear. And I am so glad that we got to do that because it is so hard to have her get rid of anything. Whereas if we hadn't done that, I don't know how, I mean, we wouldn't be as far as we are right now.
Yeah.
And so, I'm always trying to find ways to explain something so that she can understand the importance of why we need to get rid of things and why we should keep things. And so we're kind of getting into this pinch stage now where like the house is starting to look nice and she wants it to stay that way. So she has been getting rid of a few things, which is nice. She also wants to park her car in the garage. So sometimes I like to use those goals, like she wants it to look like X, or she wants to be able to do X in this room. Okay, well, to be able to do that, that means XYZ, and we're going to have to get rid of this. What can we move? What can we get rid of? So, and it is just really challenging, but I'm thankful for the regular job. I don't want to work myself out of a job entirely either, but it's challenging sometimes and frustrating when they have a goal, they want to meet it, but they're not listening to anything that you have to say. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so the goal thing, I'm always trying to get her to say a goal that she wants to help us make decisions and stick to decisions. And then I'm always trying to make things simple, so she hates going through paperwork. So we have a basket that sits on this one area where she can put all of her mail until I can go over there and help her go through the mail. And so just some different things like that. So I mean, I would love to hear if anybody's come up with a good solution with someone who has ADHD with a client that has ADHD, because this is something that I'm really looking for and why I really wanted to come on this call tonight is because I want more ideas for clients like this. So
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has any good things that they've used or tricks that they've come up with as far as organizing things or helping their client to let go of things.
Yeah. So I'm going to tag you in a thread that's in the group that just popped up. I think yesterday, Erica posted it. Erica's not on tonight's call, but I just tagged you in the group. It looks like there's like 18 comments in there. And my comment on what you just said is always tying it to the emotions. So what are her emotions of like, okay, what happens when she doesn't park her car in the garage? You're in Minnesota where there's extreme weather. So when she doesn't park her car in the garage and her door is frozen shut in the morning because she can't get into her car because it's freezing, that is probably frustration, anger. Why did I keep so much stuff? Why can't I just get rid of things? Right. And so what is that emotion? And then how can you help her work through that emotion of, look, this is where we're at. This is where you want to go. You want to go from point A to point Z, right? That's probably a lot of stuff in the way of getting that vehicle in the garage, right? Let me help you take you from point A to point B. Then we're going to go from point B to point C, right? When you can give them like a roadmap of the strategy behind it and like bite-sized chunks, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I feel like if I was the client, I would understand more of your service and where we're trying to go. But that's just me. I don't have ADHD. A lot of people in the group commented though, like some people have that and things like that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That was good. Thank you.
Anyone else on ADHD clients at all?
I mean, I honestly feel like 95% of my clients either are or their kids are or like someone in their family is, and like that's why they're in this situation. And like I know that they're, you know, counselors and all that, but like I always tell them, like, you called me for a reason. Like I can't make space. We have what we have. Like we've got to use the space that we have. So if you want to park your car in the garage, there's only so many places that we can put all of these things if the car is going to get there, because there's just no more space. Like I can't like make an attic appear, or I can't make a basement appear, you know, like you just got to use what you got and kind of like just be a little bit more blunt with them, because like they called you for a reason. They're kind of desperate, you know?
Right.
Cool. Is that helpful, Letty? I think yeah. Okay, perfect. So moving on, let's talk about mirroring. So we've talked about this in one of our past calls at some point. I think when we were talking about like sales and consultation processes and things like that. So mirroring is basically the idea of mimicking specific behaviors. So if I were to come on to tonight's call and be like, hey guys, what's up? Yeah, so tonight we're going to talk about this, right? That would probably be kind of crappy for you guys as the audience members, right? So I try to lift the vibe. I try to be more positive. I try to bring the energy so that hopefully you guys follow suit and you get excited after, even though you've worked a long day, right? So this usually will help foster a feeling of trust if it's mirrored behavior. So if you have like those slower moving clients, if you have the really high energy, like busy mom who's like frantic about finishing on time because she has to go pick up her kids from school or whatever, right? There's all these different energy styles that you will come across in your organizing work, right? You can probably all think of somebody that's been either one of those things. So in sales and in client relationship building and in working with customers in their own home, if customers cross their legs or their arms, salespeople, AKA business owners, can mirror the same position. It's like a building trust sort of thing. If prospective clients are animated with talking like how I am, where I move my hands around a lot, I use emphatic hand gestures, you could also do the same, right? The goal here is to create that behavioral reflection. So again, going back to mirroring, what does a mirror do? It reflects. That puts potential consumers and or your actual clients at ease by fostering an innate sense of understanding. Like, oh, she gets me, right? So Letty's example, she gets that I really want to be able to park a car in the garage. Okay, she gets it. She keeps talking about it. She keeps reminding me of my goal. She understands me, right? Or Brittany's client who needs the 100 drawers done with all the command strips or whatever it is, contact paper. What do they want? They want the job to be done quickly, efficiently, effectively, not have gaps, not have a mess. Otherwise they would have done it themselves, right? That sounds like hell on earth to me. Like that would not be the job for me because I'm like not detail oriented in cutting or anything like that. You guys saw my wallpaper job, not great. But
well, I invited my perfected form channel husband because he is the type of person who would take a long time, but get it so it's actually touching the core, like perfect. Yes, I knew that this was not for me, so I delegated.
Yay, outsource what you're not great at, right? Yeah, but that client now knows like, okay, she gets it. She gets that I want this quality level of work, right? So the idea here with mirroring is that everybody at their core truly wants to be understood. I don't think anybody can argue that. We all want to be understood as humans. What happens when we don't feel understood? What happens when maybe our spouse or our partner or whoever, a friend, makes a nasty comment and they're like, oh, well, da 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 da, because they made an assumption, right? That old statement, assuming makes an ass out of you and me, right? So when I know myself, when I feel like somebody doesn't get where I'm coming from, or somebody doesn't get what I'm trying to do or get my intention, it's frustrating when they kind of like throw words at me and I don't feel understood, right? Like that hurts. And so the last thing we want is for our clients to feel like we don't understand them. Obviously, we're not hoarders. Maybe some of us have ADHD, maybe some of us don't. Maybe some of us have OCD, maybe some of us don't. Maybe some of us have past, traumas, maybe some of us don't, right? We're all different. But when you can walk into a client home and really make them feel understood in something as simple as mirroring their energy, mirroring their body language, and using that EQ to kind of fill in the blanks of what they need, that's gold, right? That turns into repeat business. That turns into, oh my gosh, this was a life-changing service. I need you back once a month for the rest of time, right? Those repeat clients are the ones that feel really understood by us. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so moving on. How can we use this to our advantage as organizers? So I know I talk a lot about no judgment organizing, like how horrible would it be to walk into somebody's home and say, oh my gosh, this is such a mess, or oh my God, right? Like we've all probably thought it, like, how am I going to tackle this laundry room, or how am I going to tackle this pantry? It looks like a bomb hit it, or whatever, right? But these are things we don't say. So in offering no judgment organizing, I want to hear about that. And or what are some ways that you've learned to work with clients as you help them through their emotions and objections? Anybody want to share?
So I feel like when people are disorganized, they feel a lot of shame sometimes. And so I always try to find something to compliment them on. Like, oh, I love these bins and baskets that you found. They're perfect for this job. Or I love your pictures on the wall, or just anything that I can find and feel authentic about to give them a compliment about. And then, when they do say, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, I'm always like, you don't have anything to be embarrassed about. Like, this is your home. You've been through some stuff, and you know what? That's okay. Like you've reached out and you've made a step in the right direction. And that's what's important, and you're helping yourself. And so I really try to focus on that and encourage them not to feel bad about their house. And I even have like a note that I send out that they get like once they sign up, and it says what to expect at your organizing job. And it says, the first sentence is, I don't expect you to clean your house for me to come. Like, I am not judging your housekeeping skills. And I literally, it's better for me if I can just see you in your natural environment, because that shows me where I can like help and, stuff like that. So, and they always appreciate that. They're like, when I come to the door, sometimes they go, you told me not to clean before you came. And so I'm like, yeah, that's right, I did. And then I do say somewhere in the note, I'm like, with that being said, I might need to use the restroom when I'm there, so that they're not like surprised, like, you told me not to clean, but now you're going to use my bathroom.
Yeah.
So
that's always the first thing I do is I pee when I get to a client's house. Like, I don't even care. I'm just like, no shame. If I had an hour commute, I'm using your bathroom. Like, we're friends now, so bye. But don't be ashamed to go pee in somebody's house. Yeah, I love that you said shame, right? Shame is such a powerful, powerful, powerful feeling. And I think of like a personal training example. So if you think of our souls being in our body is like our energetic home, right? Our physical home is obviously like our houses, our apartments, our townhouses, our condos, right? But if I'm going to go see a personal trainer, I'm probably already feeling ashamed. Yes, I made the right first step. Yes, I reached out to them. Yes, I called them. Yes, I booked my appointment. Yes, I joined that gym or I did whatever. But I feel shameful right now, to be completely honest, like just in real life, I'm not where I want to be. I've gained about 15 pounds over the past 6 months of the breakup and the move out and all the things. And I'm not where I want to be. But if I walked into that first personal training appointment at my gym and my trainer was like, look, I got you, you're in the right place, you did the right first thing, I'm so proud of you, like we're going to do this together, let's go, right? And be that motivating force and that exciting and inspiring type person, that's who I want to work with. And I would imagine that's who most of our clients want to work with. So I love that you brought up shame, Letty, because that's giving me another idea for like another resource on like, I don't know, a blog post or something about how shame affects the decluttering process, right? Because it does hold so much emotion. Cool. Anyone else want to share other things that they've learned? Yeah, Natalie.
So like, I try to see how much I can relate to the client. So especially with clients with little kids, and they're always saying, you know, there's so many toys and stuff around the house. I had 3 under 15 months. So I said, I lived it. I said, I've been there. So it always kind of makes them feel a little bit better that I've gotten out of it, you know, like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So it kind of always makes them feel, you know, I try to tell them like tips and tricks and saying, I've been through the chaos. I've been through my living room corralled and petroleum jelly everywhere and everything. So, you know, I kind of relate to them so that they feel a little bit more comfortable and then they get their guard down because yeah, a lot of people put the wall up. They're ashamed, embarrassed, overwhelmed, don't know where to start. So I always try to start off at a personal aspect so that, you know, they put trust in me because it's a very, very difficult thing to call and ask for help. So that's how I kind of handle those kind of jobs.
Yeah, really building that trust factor, the know, the like, and then the trust is the hugest part. I love what you said, like, I've been there, I understand, I totally get it, right? Those are statements that really like release those blocks from that client. Like they might be really hesitant on that first session. They might be nervous. They might have anxiety. They might want to cancel, get cold feet. That's why we get deposits, right? But when you kind of like disarm them. You're kind of like, oh my gosh, no, I'm an organizer. Believe me, my house isn't perfect either. I just actually really love doing this. And I've, you know, built a business around it, right? When you can say that too, like, hey, I'm not perfect either. They're expecting you to be this like Mary Poppins, you know, coming in, got to be so buttoned up. And like, we're all real, right? And so when you can disarm that, that's gold. I love that. And holy cow, you had 3 under 15 months. Jen, did you want to say something? I saw your hand go up earlier. Oh.
So no, Natalie touched it. I just kind of, I share things that I'm personally struggling with so I can kind of meet them at that vulnerable place. And then we walk together. So like I tell them like I struggle with drinking water. And I said, isn't that, I'm a nurse, I know better. And they're like, really, Jen, you don't drink water? And I said, do me a favor, hold me accountable to drink water while we're working together. And I kind of give them, so that, because you're right, they see us like, I think we have answers for everything, right? And they think that we're perfect. So I kind of show them that I'm good at organizing, but there are lots of other things that I'm not good at. And it helps. But
I
yeah,
love what you said with walk together. Like we're on this journey together. Like we're going to walk through this together. Like if somebody said that to me, and like you being a nurse, like you need to just draw my blood from the rest of time because like I cannot give blood. But like if like I came to you, and I don't even know if you're into phlebotomy or whatever, but if I came to you and I had to like get my blood drawn and you were like, we're going to walk through this together and I'm going to tell you what's going on through the I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to pass out. You know, I love that those 2 words, walk together, super powerful. Cool. All right. So adding value, just a few things here. I know some of us are more woo-woo than others on tonight's call, but have you thought about using your own intuition and your own feminine wisdom to offer other services beyond just the decluttering and the product placement? like Clutter Coaching, right? Helping them work through those emotions. Hey, why are you holding on to all of your old ex-husband stuff or all of your empty nester child stuff, right? They might have a kid that's already graduated college, but they haven't touched their bedroom, right? I know I've had a bunch of clients like that. Things like Clutter Coaching, Clutter Healing to really add more value and also have it be maybe more virtual, right? Less of the actually having to drive around and be in client homes all the time. I know that there's a few ladies in our mastermind that are into things like Ayurveda, yoga, astrology, human design, feng shui, energy clearing, Reiki, meditation, hypnosis, mantras, affirmations, life coaching, all of these things, right? So if any of those are things that you could tie into your services, I would say go for it. Don't be scared to do that. That's going to set you apart from other organizers that might not have those gifts or those talents. I think some people are scared to like put themselves out there and say, I don't know, put a label on it. Like, I'm doing this now. You don't have to. I carry like sage in my bag. I carry Palo Santo in my bag. I mostly for my own energy, because sometimes you walk into some funky spaces, right? But if working with a client that can be on that same level as you, sometimes those are the best clients that are like, yeah, let's clear this space. Yeah, tell me about feng shui. Tell me about this or that, right? So just some other ideas for you here to make those services not only more impactful for your clients, but also more fulfilling for you in your career as an organizer long term, if you're into those things as like hobbies or passion projects. And then just a reminder, you guys know this, but it's more than just organizing, it's life changing. So really tying that into your branding, your captions, your copywriting. I offer a life changing service, and owning that and sticking to it, because you do. You offer a life changing service. So provide more value, especially during these times. You're more than a glorified housekeeper. It's easy to teach someone to clean a house. It's not easy to teach someone to organize. I'm a firm believer that you either have the gift or you don't. And how can you start to become even more fulfilled in the work that you're doing while also going deeper with your clients, right? Really tapping into those emotions, really getting through those blocks with them. And we're at 6:55. So I want to see if anybody had any light bulb moments on what we just talked about, and then B, talk about some goals. I'm going through the chat. Yeah, Jessica said the most likes I have ever received on my Facebook page is when I posted a picture of my messy living room with toys everywhere. People loved seeing it, right? They want to know that we're not perfect. Yeah. Amethyst posted, Amethyst has 3 or 4 kids. I can't remember, but her youngest is like 1.5. And she made some post that was similar to that. It was like, you think organizers are perfect? Nope. And she posted, the behind the scenes. People love to see those. Becky has a light bulb moment. Accountability coaching. Yeah, for sure. Get them on a maintenance program. Get them something where you check in with them virtually once a month, right? You do a 1-hour Zoom. You don't even have to drive there. They pay you $100 or whatever your pricing ends up being. Feel free to unmute.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not, like, my face isn't on the chat tonight, but hi everybody. I miss all of you. I love that, and I want to somehow incorporate that, because I have probably 3 or 4 clients that I check in with already, just because they're going through hard times and they need that accountability, where they say, like, if I just had something written down like weekly that we could check in, I know I would be better at doing X, Y, and Z. So how would I charge for that? Just like a weekly or monthly check-in?
Yeah. In Calendly or in TidyCal, depending what you have, you can do paid calls, and then you can have them have the Calendly or TidyCal, whatever you use. I think you use TidyCal, right? Yeah. They have a paid meeting event. So you would just create another type of invite, not a consultation. And then you would have it say, 1 hour accountability call, they can pay right through there. It connects to your business banking, and it will generate a Zoom if you connect your Zoom to TidyCal.
That's incredible. Okay, cool. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll send you an example too, because it's what I do. It's what I do. If you guys have done a $97 strategy call with me, that's how I do it too. So, yeah, it's easy. And to me, it's a no-brainer, because it's like they put skin in the game, and you know that they're going to show up for the call, and you know that they don't want to pay your regular rate to check in with them, right? So it's a win-win for both. Yeah, cool. Anyone else? Light bulb moments, takeaways, things that you might want to implement? Great.
Yeah, I used that link on like the personality test, and I found out that I'm a generator. What does that mean? Does anybody know?
So you are 80% of the population. The world is run by generators. If you go on YouTube, if you're a YouTuber or if you're like more of a Pinterest person, just Google generator human design type, and there's all kinds of resources. You can also be more specific and say generators in business, right?
Okay.
So 5 out of 5, I was chatting with Brittany earlier, 5 out of 5 of my private coaching clients have been projectors, which is another type. And what I'll do in my one-on-one coaching is share like different business profiles and resources and things like that, because there's different rest cycles, there's different like things that are your triggers, things that when you're not at your best, how you show up. Like mine is anger, so yay, fun. But things like that, where it just helps you kind of get a different view of who you are in business and in work. And you might see things where you're like, oh yeah, shit, I do that, right? And then it gives you some tips on how to kind of counteract.
For sure, that's cool. I'll have to put more research into that for sure.
Generator. I'm going to write it down so I remember what you are. Letty?
Sorry, I had to flip over the screen to unmute, but so one thing that I've been wanting to do, and then when you said Clutter Coaching services, that kind of sparked me to remember that I wanted to do this. But we've all had the clients where like they have the box of paperwork that was under the stairs or something, and you were decluttering under there, and they're like, I'll go through that later, right? And then you go back there the next 2 times and it's still sitting there, and they're like, oh, I still haven't gone through that, you know what I mean? So I thought about like having a monthly time where my clients could get on with me. And then we actually go through some of those things that we've set aside, like taking the pictures out of the frames that they wanted to keep, but they didn't want the frames, or the boxes of paperwork, school paperwork that they need to go through, or photos, just anything that they want to get done during that hour that they would want to do. And we're just all on there together. We all come on and we go, this is what I'm going to work on. And then we all go to work, we mute, you could stay on video or not stay on video. Everybody goes and does their thing. We come back at the end of the hour and check in and say, this is what I got done. Just kind of like an accountability, like go through stuff. And I used to do work calls like this, business calls for my business, where we would get on and we would do this. So I know it works. And sometimes people would say, I'm still going, who wants to stay on with me or whatever. So anyways, that's something I've been thinking about doing, and I just haven't done it yet because I've been working really hard lately on automating my business more. And so I've kind of got that going. And I think this is the next thing that I want to do is to create this call time where people can get on and we'll do some of that stuff, because I know they want to do it, but they just need the accountability to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking you could call it like a power hour or something, where it's like accountability, and like you said, it could be multiple clients, they don't have to be on camera or whatever. Tamra, who's in the group, and Teresa both have Facebook groups as well. I think you might have a Facebook group too, Letty, where that's something that they've thought about too, is like, hey, how do we hold each other accountable in the group? So I love that, like a 1 hour power hour where they pay X amount of dollars and get it done. Because you're right, those boxes never get gone through ever. They sit there forever and grow cobwebs. Cool. Well, we are right at 7:00 my time at the top of the hour. If anybody wants to stay on and share any additional wins, by all means, please do so. But I'm going to stop hitting record, and then